From the first one, we've got Stella Wheildon. She's the consultant to the Aboriginal mythology. Now, what she's presenting is modern folklore. It's researched. So this is factual. So enjoy it, and I'm sure you will. She's awesome. So Stella.
Thank you very much, Irene. Thank you. Hello, and thank you very much, Irene. And thank you to the elders for allowing this to happen. The Ngarakbal and the Githabul elders are represented here today in numbers, and they are also joined by other representatives from tribal nations around the globe and here in Australia as well. So we welcome you all. And thank you so much, Irene and Robert, for putting this together, and Jose for coming all this way. What I'm going to show you, I only have 1 hour to present this material in. It's quite comprehensive, and I'll go a little bit too fast for some of you. I'm sorry if I do, but I want to be able to show a clear overview of things. And I'm using the PowerPoint to be able to illustrate that today. There'll be a lot of text that will scroll on the screen. It's not necessary to read this text. I'll be talking about it as much, so it's more the visuals for you to focus on, and it's concerning this ancestral landscape and its association in the greater cosmology of our planet, our solar system and our galaxy and beyond. The traditional Aboriginal people hold extensive lore. It was not lost. It went underground in order to survive. But there were very, very strong people within the culture, the local people, and they ensured the integrity and the protection of that. So powerful was this information that it was utilised to achieve the federal determination of native title and the transfer of lots of Crown lands, national parks, state forests just recently. This is a story about two tribal cultures. The Ngarakbal of the Wollumban volcano and the Githabul of the Mount Lindsay volcano. They are marriage clans, they're moieties. Moiety means half. Ngarakbal, one half, Githabul, the other half, together they are a whole. Marriage and law within marriage is very, very sacred. It defines us. It comes from the stars. These laws once circled the globe. They've been destroyed over time through various invasions in the Northern Hemisphere and conquering subsequent relocations of people. Because these people were the last conquered tribal nation only 160 years ago, and because of the tenacity and strength of the elders, this material survived, and I'm very lucky to be able to bring it to you today. So many thanks to you for allowing this to happen. Mythology in traditional law is called Bootheram. Bootheram, what is it? It's the oral history or science held in oral format. So what it does is it uses metaphors to associate parables with greater cosmology. So from the stars, which is our storybook, which we all look at and we all share, we can draw this information, and the local clans or language groups of various tribal nations across the continent will hold a portion of the law. Now that law is talking about their land, their landscape. They can't sing the song of another landscape. They sing for here. So this is centred very much on this landscape. I'll skip a little bit to show you how the continuity goes and how it relates to the sky. But it's predominantly this landscape because that's what I've been given permission to be able to do. Guyoongun, Bootheram. Guyoongun means star. Bootheram law. Guyoongun, Bootheram, star law. Ngarakbal and Githabul. So how this metaphor works in the landscape situation is, for example, here in the Tweed, we have Mount Warning, and it is the shape of a tiger tooth here, the shark. Now this is deep ocean. This is 370 million years ago. We're about here now. But this was once deep ocean. Here is Warwick, the edge of the continental shelf, and this was the original volcanic mountain chain. Warwick is the most western extent of the Githabul landscape. Ngarakbal's totem is shark. It's using a totem to show time. The sharks were evolving at this particular time, the landscape was evolving, so the overall totem for here, for Ngarakbal, is shark for this reason. Now the same sorts of metaphors also get used in other creation deities. Wollumban is the turkey. Wollumban created the volcano. Turkeys build mounds. A shield volcano is a mound. Wollumban is the creator. At the time that this volcano was being created above the seabed, birds were evolving. So once again, Wollumban the turkey is the time marker. Western or Northern Hemisphere people, they use numbers and dates. Traditional people use totem and stars. This is why the calendar system, which we're forced to live under, shatters us all. This is one of Uncle Harry Boyd's beautiful paintings, and it's about the geological creation of this land. You can see the eruption of the volcano. He's using his ancestral mythology to show that. Now, the Ngarakbal and Githabul hold the feathered serpent or rainbow serpent law for this landscape in their portion and how it travels across. So this is closely linked to skin law. Now, skin, Helga was talking about the unity of all things and the consciousness. Well, that is what skin is in the tribal sense as well. Plants got skin, birds got skin, we've got skin, you've got skin. It's another word for form. The binary element within that form is water. The hydrogen and oxygen atoms fill all that space. So through skin law and totem law, people are associated or linked into landscape. The skin law is sung through specific language. So law, land and language are linked. And they link in each section to the stars. The Wiangari, which is the Seven Sisters star law, is centred in the Border Ranges, which has just been given back to the Githabul people. Wiangari means ice. The Seven Sisters law is the law of the Pleiades, and it's talking about ice ages. And I'll show you how that connects in with all of the other global mythologies over the time. So this is the view from the Border Ranges, looking down the ancestral totem lines into the Ngarakbal landscape. It's linked to the everlasting water of space. Now these old people, they knew this. They talked about this in the 1950s. Auntie Millie Boyd was a huge figure within the movement. This is Uncle Harry's mother, Uncle Doug's aunt. She was one of the most noted Aboriginal elders. She knew that the rainbow serpent, or the skin law mythology, was linked, and she held it for her people. She held it for very important reasons. It teaches us that through correct breeding we have healthy people, we have good consciousness, we have a sustainable earth form. And this knowledge comes from the stars. Pure water's always been revered throughout tribal nations and cultures. Often it was kept in obsidian or quartz vessels. The ancients here also did the same, using the crystalline energy. Now the crystals that link the aquifer systems that are underneath these volcanoes that we are in now contain these large crystals. So they're constantly purifying and restructuring the water. Now this is not something that, we all know this, the consciousness is linked through thought form, and that we can create good thoughts and bad thoughts, and it can be manifested in these crystals. But they've also found that in every human body, in every diseased cell, is surrounded by unstructured water. And it's through structured water, through these crystalline sites, that we're all drawn to, like bees to a honeypot, where consciousness can be kept pure. And this is why this place was so important to law, because it's a pure, significant, sacred place. It's always been coveted by everybody from all over the planet, and they've had many visitations here. And there's a lot of archaeological evidence to show that throughout time. Now the Ngarakbal elder, Annie Millie, she said, "We are clever water." She was referring to the water from space, or the everlasting water in the sky. So the way this star law comes down through these metaphors into these totem sites, into this landscape, is using metaphor and still numbers, of course, because there are some things that numbers never lie. There's 8 minerals, there's 8 chemicals, 8 vitamins, 8 blood haplogroups in the skins, or the 8 totemic skins, and the 8 wogena, or the water